Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name's Christina, and in today's video I want to show you some really fun, simple DIYs. It's all about recreate, restyle, and recycle. So lots to cover, so let's just get right into it. I really wanted to create a nice, elegant, natural looking wreath. So with some local supplies at my dollar store, I was able to pick up some embellishments to put something together. And I've never actually done this before, and I thought it would be great since it is the Christmas holidays, but I could use this all year round. So using this burlap ribbon, if you can't find that, you can always make strips of the burlap. And I'm just going to wrap it around this wire wreath. And there's no particular way to do this, it's just really wrapping and bunching. So this way it just bunches into itself and it will also cover the wire. I found that if I twisted the burlap as I went and weaved it through the wire, it seemed to make these nice, almost like bows, which I really found very helpful, and it looked very organic. So I'm going to go ahead and add this sorghum grass, and there's lots of different natural dried flowers and even wheat that you could use. So whatever you see, whatever you like, or if you wanted to add some color embellishments as well. I also found this white floral stem, and I thought it would be perfect by just cutting off little pieces and just adding it through as I started to put it together, and I really loved how it came together. Once I've made the design of what I want on the wreath, I'm going to go ahead and attach it with a hot glue gun. But if you don't have a hot glue gun, no worries. You can always use regular school Elmer's glue. You're just going to have to leave it to dry a little bit longer. These truly make for beautiful decor pieces for any room. And again, sky's the limits on the color choices you could choose, or if you wanted to go with a more natural, kind of a boho kind of a vibe to it. It's really endless, and it's great because it's like a bouquet, but it's something you can attach to the wall. So it's not just about the holidays and Christmas for wreaths, it's all year round. So I was really happy to give this a try. So I'm going to go ahead and add these natural wood stumps. They're all dried. I'm just going to add one or two at the bottom, as well as I want to show you how I'm going to recycle those placemats that you see me working on right now for another project coming up. So using some embroidery hoops, you can make some beautiful art elements for your wall, and they come in all different sizes, as well as you can use different fabrics and fabric colors. So I wanted to show you a very simple way that you can create some beautiful wall decor, and it's so easy to do. I've done many of these in the past, but I really wanted to go with more of a modern and a little bit of a boho kind of look. So I'm just going to use a natural linen, and this is just a scrap piece that I have. And it's pretty easy to anchor it inside the embroidery hoop. They have a little screw and a bracket at the top, so this is going to anchor the two pieces of wood together. And you're just going to want to pull that fabric in nice and tight. I'm going to go ahead and draw out some regular art figures that just off the top of my mind, I just kind of had a vision in my head. But by all means, if you don't know how to draw, no big deal. You can always trace something. You could go with a very minimalistic art piece. I mean, sky's the limits. You can pick whatever you like based on the decor you want. So I wanted to make 3 of these, all in different sizes, and I wanted the fabric colors to be a little bit different. So each of the drawings that I'm going to do are just going to be a human figure, just in different positions. I also want to show you how you could use the embroidery hoop to create something very similar, just with things you can find at the thrift shop. I'm going to go ahead and do another one, and I'm using a whiter linen fabric. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and draw another figure. It's nothing special, it's just a little something going with that modern minimalistic art look. What I did find super helpful is to ligate your material to the embroidery hoop, but also to use a few different books available so that way you actually had something to kind of draw onto. I just found it super helpful, so this gave me something firm that I could sketch off of. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my third, as I wanted to make a unit of 3, and each one is going to be a little bit different, not only in just the art figure but as well as the embroidery threads that I want to choose. Embroidery thread is just like paint colors. It comes in everything you could possibly imagine. Now, because I've gone with human figures and also the fabrics I've chosen for these 3 pieces, I wanted to go with very, very earthy tones and kind of a natural skin tone as well. You're just going to need a standard needle. Again, I just wanted to show you, I found this. It was adorable. It's an elephant. I think it was crafted in like India. I thought the colors of this was perfect. It's actually a napkin, and I found this at the thrift shop, and I just wanted to show you quickly that you can put anything you like in an embroidery hoop, and it can make such a beautiful wall decor. And for more personal touch, you can paint or stain the embroidery hoop. So what you want to do is stitch from the back, and I'm just going to make fine, tiny stitches, and this is what's going to give it the look that it has. You can make longer stitches, but I wanted to make short little stitches. And again, you can add colors, take them away, but I really wanted to demonstrate something very, very simple. Just follow the lines and give about 1 millimeter between your stitches. You can always add darker and lighter stitches beside it to add more contrast to your piece. I'm going to go ahead and finish off my last 2, but I want to quickly show you how you could actually make a little tag holder. So I have this faux leather. I'm just going to cut a strip, and I'm going to show you how I did this, and it just kind of refines it and gives it something to ligate to and hang it on the wall with. If you don't have faux leather on hand, you can always use other thicker fabrics or even a burlap if you wanted to create this little wall hanger for your embroidery hoop. You could also just leave the embroidery attachment screw on its own. You don't have to do anything to it. I just wanted to add this little extra element to it, and I just thought it would make it look a little tidier and add to the modern look that I was going for. So now that I've added this element for wall hanging, I'm going to use a grommet punch. And this is just, again, just to add some more detail and just making things nice and tidy. But you can just use a very well-tipped knife very carefully just to make a small little hole, or even use a decorative tack. I'm going to use some chalk paint and graphite and cocoa, and I want to dress up this canvas board that I've had for quite some time. And it's quite interesting as an oval canvas. You can pick them up in your local art stores and sometimes even your dollar stores. No particular fashion of anything I'm doing. All I would like to do is create some highlights and lowlights with these two color tones. With chalk paint being a very flat matte finish, I thought I would create something of a 3-dimension, and I'm going to show you what I mean in just a moment. So all I would like to do is just blend these colors around and just have some fun with it. Nothing particular I'm trying to go for. It's just adding in a little bit of water, so this way, because the chalk paint is so thick, this will move your paint around and you'll use a lot less paint. I also find adding little spurts of just some misted water will also help me blend these colors to create those highlights and lowlights. You don't have to use a chalk paint. You can use any acrylic paint, and if you'd like, you could even add a little bit of texture by adding in some baking powder, and you can create some beautiful, beautiful kind of an abstract blended look with any of those paints. So I have a lot of these macrame beads, and I thought it might be fun to create something of a 3-dimension. At first I thought maybe I'll do an owl, but then I decided to get a little bit more, I don't know, maybe wine just being on my mind, and I felt like a glass, so I decided to go with a bottle pouring into a glass look. The wood macrame beads come in quite a few different shapes, but I liked these ones because they actually had different sides to them. So they actually had a flat side, which made gluing them a little bit easier. But I did add a few round ones as far as the pouring. As you can see right there, those are round. And I'm just going to go ahead with my hot glue gun, and I'm just going to go around the outside first, then finish off the inside. I wanted to add to the frame as well as some more contrast, so using the macrame cord, I'm just going to go around and hot glue gun that, and I'm going to wrap the canvas probably about 4 or 5 times, and I just thought this would add to the body as well as some more detail to this piece. This is a super fun way to dress up a small canvas board and add new elements to your home decor using any shapes or objects that you like. I was super excited to try this, and I think we can make some really fun things just making our own candles. Plus, I wanted to give some Christmas gifts to the office of my day job, and I thought this would be perfect. So I went and bought 25 jars. Just a quick reminder, keep your cardboard boxes and wrapping paper rolls. In next week's video, I can't wait to show you what you can create. I'm going to tell you all the details, walk you through all the steps, and you are going to be blown away with the results. I've already done it, and I am thrilled with how it's turned out. So that's definitely going to be on next week's video. So this is a great multiple gift idea, making your own candles and using flat chalk paint in white, gray, and dark gray, just in random, so they were different. For $1.25 a jar, this is perfect. So I decided I wanted to practice making the candles first, and I was super delighted. For the metal lid tops of the small jars, I'm just going to go and twist some jute, add a little bit of the hot glue, And I'm just going to add this element to the lids just to give it more of a kind of a boho kind of look to it, as well as just giving it an organic feeling. If you don't have jute, you can always use some old yarns that you still may have laying around. Super easy, quick solution to adding character to just some lid tops. I want to show you how quick and easy it is to actually make your own candles. So with the wicks and the stems, you're just going to basically stitch it together. You're going to glue it to the bottom of the jar and get your jars ready for your wax pour. And I'll show you step by step how to do that. So to hold up your wick in the center, just use a dowel or a popsicle stick with a piece of tape. Homemade candles are really easy. Using a double boiler system, melt the wax and let it heat to 180. When you're ready to pour, you'll let it cool to 175 and then pour into the containers you have prepared. We ended up making some other really fun ideas, just making homemade candles, and I'm about to show you some other really fun, interesting ideas you can do. I wanted to show you some really easy ways you can create some fun embellishments and make some beautiful little decor items for any home style. So I'm using a hot crafter's glue and I'm just putting on some jute wrap that's actually been braided, and I'm just going to wrap this around this candle a few times. So I wanted to give this a little bit of a rustic cottage look. So using those little dried wood pieces, I'm actually going to create almost like a little stool for the base of this candle. Again, these make wonderful gift ideas and it can be suited for so many different occasions. I did buy a few candles from my local dollar store just for the season of Christmas, and I thought it would be fun to create some table art by just using some cinnamon sticks, and I'm going to go ahead and glue them all the way around this candle. Again, it has a very rustic kind of look to it. It almost looks like wood sticks, but it smells so good. By putting the candle up on top of something, this allowed me to place the cinnamon sticks evenly, so this way it didn't disrupt the balance of the candle. You could wrap some jute, or you could even use some ribbon depending on the season or occasion. This one is a personal favorite of mine. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and just start a base with some jute, and I'm going to hot glue that on. Once I've snipped it, I'm actually going to go around and take off that fray by just going around with a lighter and just lightly run it over, and it's just going to take off all those little flyaways that the jute can have sometimes. And here I'm just using my favorite, the coffee bean, and I'm just going to dress it up and wrap coffee beans about 1/2 to 3/4 up. And again, just really easy. There's no particular pattern. You're just going to put them on randomly and it makes a beautiful texture. I'm going to use the leftover cinnamon sticks that I have and just use some jute to wrap them up, and then I'm just going to adhere them to the candle. I wanted to show you how to do twisted candles. Now the trick is you need to use paraffin candles only. They can't have a second coat on them. It'd be too hard. The paraffin you want to soften. just with warm water, not boiled water. Just using a standard rolling pin, just going to flatten out the center of the candle. So you're going to leave the top and you're going to leave the bottom so the base can still be placed in a candle holder. You definitely have a little bit of working time, as it will take a little bit till it starts to harden again. And all you do is twist it, and you can create a few twists or you can make lots of twists. But you'll figure it out as you start twisting what you like best. And it's so beautiful and looks so elegant and adds a beautiful texture to your candles, just by using some hot water from the tap. I found these for free, and they're just medium-sized planter containers. With the Mink Chalk Finish by Krylon, I'm going to go ahead and give these a spray just to freshen them up, and then I'm going to figure out what I'd like to do with them. So now that these planter boxes are all cleaned out and they are freshly sprayed, I'm going to go ahead and create a basket-like look for these, maybe even a little bit of a boho style. So I'm going to go ahead with some burlap and I'm going to cut out panels for all four sides. So to protect the fabric from fraying, I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the sides as well as tidy up the seams of this. I'm going to go ahead and do all four sides and just very light, very little amount of glue involved. It sticks really well, and then I'm going to place the panels on all four, but I'm also going to do another fold. Now that I have folded all the material, once I've placed it onto the planter box itself, I'm going to fold it again. So this way it's nice and seamless, and it goes and just kind of ties in together a little bit more neatly. And I'm going to wrap them on top of each other. You'll see what I mean in just a moment. So to create it to look exactly like a basket would, I would like the material to fold into the inside. So I'm just going to fold it in and glue it. And I'm going to kind of pull tautly on it, so this way the fabric itself will be nice and tight. Working in small sections, I found a little bit easier to work with the fabric, and it allowed me to place it on as neat as possible. This is where I would fold the fabric again, place it onto the planter box, then fold it all the way to the next side, and when I'm ready for the next panel, I would fold the sides again. I also added a little bit of glue at the bottom of each panel as well. I'm going to go ahead and cut these dollar store placemats into half, and then I want to add it with a little bit of this twine rope to add the additions to try to make this look more like a basket. I used a jigsaw to cut the placemats. Now I'm just going to use the hot glue to go ahead, and I'm going to create a frame all the way around the top. I'm also going to use that twine rope all the way around the very rim of the top of the planter box. I'm using the twine as creating this faux frame for this basket look that I'm going for. Now I'm going to run the twine rope down the sides, just at the corners. Again, I just wanted to create a frame all around this planter box. And if there's any loose pieces off the rope, I'm just going to trim those off just to make it a little bit tidier. Now I want to give this faux basket a handle. So I've decided to take 3 twine pieces of rope, cut them all the same length, and then I'm going to glue one end of it. So this way I can go ahead and braid the handle. This style rope is great because it really holds its shape really well for a handle. So with some macrame cord, I'm actually just going to wrap the ends to make them a little bit tidier. I've had this chair for quite some time and I've wanted to do something different with it for a while now. And I picked it up at my local Wreath store. It's in mint condition, but it is all white. So I don't want to change the fabric, but I do want to give it a little bit more contrast as well as depth and dimension. I'm going to use chalk paint in cocoa. I always start with a moist paintbrush. Now because this frame is quite thin, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to use a small flat artist brush. Now as you can see, there is a trim on this chair. I'm going to change that trim. So if I get a little bit of paint on that trim, it's no problem. The new trim's going to cover it. On the back of the backrest, there will be no trim, so I definitely want to be careful that I don't get any paint. That's why using this very flat edge tiny artist brush will be a huge help. That way I can still paint the frame and not get the paint on the fabric. The seat portion has the trim, and again, I didn't mind if I got a little bit of paint on that because I do have a darker trim that I want to replace it with. Now the color tones I've used were not drastic, so it only needed one coat. So I'm really liking the rich look of the cocoa color. Now I'm going to go ahead and just add plain white wax, and this is also going to seal the chalk paint as well. So no particular style, I'm just going to go ahead and randomly put it all over, and I'm going to try to create a little bit of some highlights just on that detail with my brush. You can use a lint-free cloth just to go ahead and buff your wax as soon as you're finished. And it can also help if you want to pull some of the wax back if you feel you've added too much. I am loving these simple little upgrades you can do to a chair, just with a little bit of paint, maybe some new trim. It's not always just about reupholstering things, it's creating little tiny decorative ideas, and it can just be something so simple like the trim and maybe just the frame. You can use a fabric glue or you can use the hot glue gun. Just make sure if you use the hot glue gun is to make sure your setting is on a lower temperature when working with the fabric. It works beautifully. Please let me know in the comments below which one your favorite project was in this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching today's video. And if you have any questions, please leave me a comment in the comment box below, as well as let me know which one your favorite project was. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. That's going to tell you when I upload my next video. And until then, take care.